Namaste, everyone. Online yoga today from Oasis, Citadine, which is a beautiful urban farm close to our home in Montpellier that my darling partner is running. And I came here for the day just to connect with the nature, and it's been a beautiful, beautiful day. And I think it's a good time to share a little kind of grounding practice to all of you. So yeah, here we go. We'll do a little bit of asana, just a little gentle asana practice to come into the body, to come into the breath, and after that we'll do a cooling pranayama breathing practice, alternate nostril breathing. We're awakening the Ida nadi, the left nadi. So we're basically doing a alternate nostril breathing, but only so that we're breathing in through the left, always breathing out through the right, and again in through the left, out through the right. So we're awakening the lunar side of ourselves, and we do a little meditation after your pranayama practice. So you might need one block if you have, not sure. So have it with you. It's good to be having when you sit on. You can sit on the block if your hips need a little bit of elevation, and in some of the asanas you might actually need the block. But yeah, let's go into our practice. So we'll just ground first, as we're here surrounded by gorgeous nature, hearing the birds, a little bit of the traffic around, and chicken maybe strolling right next to me. So yeah, it's a beautiful place to ground down. So close the eyes and just take a few breaths in through the nose, out through your mouth. Let the exhalation stay longer and longer each time. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through your mouth, releasing. There might be a lot of tension we're going through, so just release that. Let that flow out evenly, smoothly through your exhale. If there are sounds, if there are sighs or yawns that are willing to come out, allow them to come out. Especially now that you're practicing in the privacy of your own home. Just breathe in through the nostrils, out through the mouth. As many breaths as you need. And gently we start making the breath a little bit more conscious. So breathing in and out through the nostrils. And we start evening the breath, so that the inhale and exhale eventually becomes equally long. Lengthening the breath and having a tiny, tiny pause at each end of your breath. At the top of your inhale, at the bottom of the exhale. Tiny pause. Doesn't have to be a long hold, just a little pause. Noticing your seated bones, grounding them deep into the earth, deep into the soil. Crown of the head opens, reaches towards the sky, and the spine in between becomes an antenna for the energy of the earth, for the energy of the sky to meet within you, becoming whole in you. Just keeping the eyes closed, letting the breath flow. settling down. Let's take a few more deep breaths before we go into the actual asana practice that we're doing today. Whenever we're doing asana, if there are things that don't suit your body, if there are things that will cause you pain, or something you cannot do, please just skip it. Never ever do anything that will hurt your body. So you're just doing your practice from your own authentic place. Going as deep into the asana as is necessary for you. As deep so that you can still fully breathe. You can utilize the full breath. Never deep. Couple more breaths. Then placing the hands together in the front of your heart. And we start the asana practice just by chanting one beautiful Om together. So take a deep inhale. Deep exhale. Fully exhale. Fill the lungs. Dropping your hands onto the knees, sensing the vibration of the sound. And then coming onto your knees, coming onto your all fours, widening the fingers underneath, wrists underneath the shoulders. And we are starting to awaken the spine, but we're also starting to awaken the lower part of the body as we're doing a grounding practice. So let's just start creating circles through the hips. As big of a circle as you can create today. Following the breath as you go. Inhalation brings you to the front. Exhalation brings you to the back, letting the hips move. You may close the eyes. I actually invite you to close the eyes as you move. It helps you focus to the body. It helps you focus to what actually is going on right now. Changing the direction. Big circles. Feels good, especially if you are sitting a lot. If you're sitting at home working, as some of you may be at these peculiar times. Just letting it gently move, then finding your way in the middle, opening the chest. As you inhale, exhaling, rounding the back. The cat cow. Probably the most utilized section of asana at any yoga class as you go to the studio. But so good for your spine. So good for your spine's health. So good for the breath. Allowing your spine to move. If there are other movements that want to come through, if it wants to create circles, allow them to come. If it wants to create figure eights or whatever movements there is, just allow them to come through first. So we're trying to find a stable asana practice. We need to let the wigglings happen first. We need to let all of that energy come through. Only then we can become stable in our asana. Stable body, stable mind. Very much needed right now. eventually your movement starts to cease down little by little. And dropping yourself into a child's pose, dropping the forehead down onto the earth. Inhaling, opening into your cow. Exhaling into a down dog. Inhaling back into your cow. Exhaling, child's pose. Inhaling, cow. Exhaling, down dog. Inhaling into your cow. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Baby. Child's pose, sorry. Inhaling, cow. Exhaling, down dog. Following your own breath to a few more rounds. Let the breath move you. One more time into your cow. And as you drop into your child's pose for the next time, calm down. Drop the forehead down. Give yourself a little pause. Lengthen the exhalation through your pause. Letting it all settle. Letting it all drop into the earth. Finding your way onto your all fours. Tucking the toes under for your downward facing dog. And then stepping your right foot between your hands. Lengthening your spine here. Really opening the chest, but keeping the neck long, so your chin is slightly in. And dropping the knee down. Rising up, opening up. Letting the hips sink. Letting the heart open. Neck is long. Don't drop the head to the back. Exhaling, taking your hands down onto the earth, taking your hips back. Lengthening the front leg, opening the knee, pointing your toes up in the front, lengthen the spine. Gently bow. Keeping again the neck long. Step back to downward facing dog. Settle here. Calm down. Few breaths, deep breaths. Your knees can be soft. Sits bones lifted. Spine is tall. Then stepping your left foot between the hands. Opening the chest, dropping the hips, lengthening your hip flexors a little bit, stretching them, letting the breath flow. Dropping the knee down, rising. Notice when you rise up, You drop the shoulders, they're really, really relaxed. Chest is open, but your chin is slightly in. The neck stays long, so our mind is staying calm and cool. Have a little rotation of the thighs towards the inner line, towards the middle. Dropping maybe deeper. Chest is opening. Exhaling, hands onto the earth, taking your hips back, pointing the toes at the front, lengthening, exhale, bowing down, keeping the neck long, breathing. Upper body expands every time you're inhaling. Belly gently flattens as you exhale. Long, steady breath. With your next exhale, roll the foot back onto the earth. Hands next to your feet. Tucking the toes at the back. Stepping into the downward facing dog. Settling. Finding stillness. Your right leg rises up, exhaling it to the front, rising into a high lunge, opening the chest, dropping deep, placing your hands onto the heart, bringing your left elbow to the right thigh, pressing your hands together. Rising back up, exhaling, hands down to earth, stepping back to your downward facing dog, settling here. Left leg rises up, exhaling it to the front. Back heel stays up. You rise into your high lunge. Very steady. Steady base with the legs. Taking the tailbone towards the earth. Hands into the heart. Right elbow to the left thigh. Pressing the palms together. Opening the chest. Breathing. We stay in the asana, we're finding stability. Steady, long breaths. Exhaling, turning your head to the earth, placing the hands down, stepping back into downward facing dog. Dropping the knees down, dropping yourself into child's pose, having a little rest. Breathing, lengthening the exhalation. For your next asana, you might need your block. So gently, gently start rising onto your all fours. Have your block nearby. Tuck the toes under. Taking your right leg up. Stepping that to the front between your hands. Lowering your back heel, very steady, toes back at the 45 degrees, rising up, Coming into your warrior one. Placing your hands onto your hips, straightening the front knee. Checking that your hips are really pointed forward. They're like headlights of the car, pointing towards, to the front. Now your right hand stays on your hip, left hand lengthens, left arm lengthens. And you start bringing it as far, far, far as you can. Bringing it either in front, inside of your right foot, or even outside if it's available to you, using the block if needed, and opening. Staying. Twisted Trikonasana is not an easy place to be. It's one of these asanas that look easy, but actually they're very, very challenging. Pressing the right hip back all the time as you're here. Finding stability even in this space. The space where it feels challenging. Full breath. Exhale, hands down. Removing the block. Stepping back into the downward facing dog. Dropping the knees. Having a little rest. Just few breaths, just noticing what is moving, what is arising within you as a result of these twists. Twists are magical movements. They bring everything to the center. They're very grounding, very centering, balancing. Things that we need actually right now. From your child's pose, rise back into your downward facing dog. Taking your left leg up. Exhaling that to the front. Grounding the back heel. Rising up first into a warrior one. Noticing that you're not taking your head up. Trying to keep the energy relatively cool, so you keep your neck long. Yogic wisdom to keep the mind steady. We contain our prana by keeping the chin in. Placing your hands onto your hips, straightening the front knee, maybe shortening your stance a little bit. Now right arm rises up, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Start leaning forward. Either your hand inside or outside, with the block or without, depending on your anatomy, depending on your limbs. And finding stability here as much as you can. Challenging place to be, but stay. Every time we stay in a place that is a little bit uncomfortable for us, we're growing resilience. We're growing the inner strength within us. Inner strength we need, especially now. One more good breath in. Exhaling, turning down, stepping back, downward facing dog, dropping the knees down, dropping the forehead down, coming into yourself, child's pose. Releasing through your mouth. Exhalations through your mouth, just letting them come out. Breathing, forehead resting, third eye resting on the floor. Letting it all settle. bringing everything to the middle. We're coming into one more twist. So find your way onto your all fours. Through your all fours, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Right leg rises up, exhaling to the front, turning the back toes perpendicular to the front, rising up into a warrior two. Very, very stable. Gazing through the fingers, really checking that you're right in the middle. Nothing can shake you. Keeping your hands perpendicular, turning your toes to the front, and just simply turning your warrior two to the opposite side. Letting the hips sink deeper into the earth. Utilizing your whole breath. Growing that inner strength, inner stability. That silent warrior inside of you. It doesn't react, but responds when needed. Rising up, straightening the legs, pointing your toes to the front, hands to the hips, opening your chest. Letting the tailbone drop. Then opening your arms. Bringing your left arm down. Opening the right. Turning your gaze up. Staying here. As you're here, drop the right hip down. Notice your hips. Stabilize the hips. Maybe turning your gaze towards the upper thumb. Exhaling, bringing your hand down, just simply switching, opening to the opposite side. Full breath. Upper body expands as you inhale, belly flattens as you exhale. Exhaling, hands down. Now heel toeing your feet slightly closer and coming into a squat. If you feel hard to be in a squat, you may place a blocks underneath your heels or roll a blanket or whatever serves you there. If you're fine here, place your elbows onto the inner thighs, lengthen the spine, let the tailbone drop. Let the crown reach up, but keep the neck long. This is really a Mother Earth asana, a really grounding place to be. And each of us are actually, it would be much better for us if we wouldn't always sit down. Instead of sitting, we could be squatting. Keeps our spine healthier, keeps our hips open. Couple more good breaths here. And then find your way into a seated posture, taking your legs to the front, giving them a little shake. And then we're coming into a posture called Navasana. I'm trying to find a stable spot here. There's two options here. We're strengthening our core just a little bit, just to bring it to that stability. So basically, what we may do is that we have our arms, we lean slightly back, and we just lift our knees and stay here. Those of you who've been doing this practice for a longer time and I feel comfortable, come into a full version of Navasana, just for a few breaths. Creating a little bit of tapas, a little bit of fire burning, yet being calm, steady. This may shake you a little bit, just let it shake. 2 more breaths. And then releasing. Crossing the legs. And doing a little forward fold, just to balance it. Letting it move. And then finding your way into your cross-legged seated posture. Letting it all settle here just for a while. Tuning, turning inwards. What is moving? What is arising as a result of the practice that you're doing? What is present right now? That's the most important question that we're having actually. Especially in times like this. Take your legs to the front. I may actually turn towards you, it's easier. Now take your left leg, place the sole of the foot to the inner thigh, ground both of your sit bones deeply to the earth. Flex the foot in the front. Mine might be a little bit dirty as I've been barefoot walking today. Open. Drop the shoulders. Exhale. Bow down. Come down to wherever this posture feels right to you. Let it come from an authentic place. Never forcing yourself too deep. Coming to a place where it's a little bit challenging, but a place where you can fully breathe, your face can stay relaxed, shoulders can stay relaxed, and then lengthen the neck. Inhalation lengthens the spine, exhale, you're deepening. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhale, deepening. Your hands may land wherever, in your ankle, in your shin. If you can reach your foot, your toes, absolutely, you can do that. Rising gently, gently up. Now your left foot, step it over the right knee. And then bending your right leg so that the heel comes close to the sit bone. Now the trick in this pose, there's millions of variations of this, but what I like to emphasize is that you're really grounding yourself through the big toe in the front. So you're really keeping that down. You're lengthening your spine. Then you take your left arm, bringing it behind your sacrum, lengthening through the right. And whatever version of this posture is in your practice, whether you want to take your elbow, whether you want to hug the knee, whatever you want to do, whatever depth is going to, let it happen. But the main part is to lengthen and exhale, twist. Lengthen and twist. Lengthen. Exhalation always takes you deeper until you come into a place where you feel that, okay, this is where it is, then we stay there. Never force yourself. Respect the body. The body is your friend. It's something that you can respect. You don't have to punish it. Inhalation will bring your head to the middle. Exhalation, you release. Release the legs. Take your legs to the front. Lengthen, just come to the middle. And then your right foot into your left thigh. Lengthening. Exhaling, bowing down. Let every exhalation deepen the posture. Let every inhalation lengthen your spine. Inhaling, rising up. Bringing your hands down. Right foot over the left knee. Staying as you are. Here, left heel comes close to the sit bone. Again, grounding through the big toe in the front. Having your spine tall. Your right hand comes right behind your sacrum, right in the middle. Left arm lengthens. Spine lengthens. Now pick your variation. Depending on what you're used to doing, I just simply like to hug. Lengthen and start deepening. Inhalation, lengthening. Exhale, deepen. We can hug our knee. It's basically the only thing we can hug at this moment. Turning the head to the middle, releasing, releasing. Taking the legs to the front, giving them a little shake. We're coming towards the end of our asana practice, so we prepare our spine a little bit for the seated meditation. So let's go down onto our backs. We do a very simple bridge variation. So bring your heels somewhere close to the sit bones so that you can maybe reach them. And from here, very simply, just inhale, bring your hips up, your arms overhead. Exhaling, bringing them down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Very simple. Inhalation up. Exhaling down. Inhaling. Just preparing the spine. Nothing big. Not the biggest back bend you've ever done. One more time. Simply allowing the body to do its work, to follow the breath. Bringing the knees into your chest. Hugging the knees in. Maybe rotating a little bit, finding a little massage at the lower spine, at the back of the sacrum. Finding yourself back into your seated posture. And we close with the one final forward fold. We come into Paschimottanasana. Often do it as a last posture of the class. Again, use your block if you feel, or whatever you want to sit on. Flexing your ankles. Don't be afraid to bend your knees if needed. Opening the chest. And exhaling, starting to come down. Coming to a place where you feel resistance. For some of you, it may be just a little bit. For some of you, it may be straight down. Anything in between. Inhalation is lengthening your spine from here. Exhalation is deepening the posture. Inhale is lengthening. Exhale, deepening, and allowing yourself to drop deep into this shape. It's a great place to turn inwards, to get yourself to a contemplative mood, to cool down, to calm down. Just letting it all drop. Hearing the birds, sounds of the nature. Calm down. Inhaling, rising up the same way you got in. Bringing your hands into the heart. Releasing the arms. Finding your way into a cross-leg position. Usually at this point in the class, you would do Shavasana, resting. This time, as we're doing it online, we can do it in a little bit different order. So find yourself a seated posture that's good for you. And again, maybe using that block if needed, using a bolster, a cushion, anything that feels good to you to sit down. And we take a Prithvi Mudra, which is your ring finger and your thumb together. It's earth mudra. It's one that is calming us down. Just for a few breaths, drop down with that mudra. Let your breath settle. Again, feeling the sits bones, letting the spine be tall, crown of the head reaches up. Keeping your awareness open to whatever is arising from your body as a result of your asana practice. What has been awakened? What has been shifting, changing, or moving within your whole being as we've been practicing? we come into our pranayama practice. This time, as I said, we're going to be doing our Chandra Bedana, piercing the moon. So it's an alternate nostril pranayama, but we're only breathing in through the left nostril, we're breathing always out through the right. Usually we go both ways, but this is really good to calm us down. So you can release the mudra from your left hand, placing it palm down, calming yourself down, using either your index and your middle finger right to the middle, or you can place them onto your forehead, whatever serves you. Place your fingers, your thumb and your ring finger, to the front of the nose, right where the bone ends, cartilage begins, somewhere there. And when we close the nostrils, we don't close them fully. We just have a gentle press, so there's still a little bit of air running through. I like to keep my index and my middle finger between my eyebrows. And we just gently start preparing for this, so that we take the fingers to the end of the nose or to the front. And we take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now closing gently the right nostril and breathing in through the left, all the way in. Switching your fingers, closing the left nostril, breathing out through the right. Lengthening the breath. Inhalation through the left. Exhaling through the right. I don't keep a count here, but you can start trying to lengthen the breath. Inhalation through the left. Especially lengthening the exhale. Inhaling through the left. Long exhalation through the right. Continue in your own pace. Just notice when you're breathing in, the top of the breath is somewhere between your eyebrows, a little bit behind that space, middle of the head. Like you're creating a little triangle, breathing in through the left. Breathing out through the right. It's a beautiful pranayama to do, for instance, when you're going to bed in the evening, calming your nervous system, calming the whole system down. Make 3 more full rounds. And after your last round, just let your hands rest on the knees. Keep the spine tall. Keep the neck long. Let the shoulders drop. Just stay within. Just notice, sense, and feel the calmness created by the pranayama. How everything is slowing down. How the breath is slowing down. Heart rate. If your mind starts to wander a lot, you can bring it to the space between your eyebrows. Using that as a place for connection to yourself. And just stay. Staying within. Totally and absolutely relaxed. Calm and still. No matter what's happening. Nothing can shake you. You're connected to the deepest part of yourself. Through your third eye. It's a place that we can always go back to, no matter what. From this point on, you may continue your meditation in silence, or you can have a little rest, little shavasana. Thank you for practicing with me today, and I hope to see you again. Thank you so much. Namaste. Merci. Kiitos.